It is clear that Sizwe Zungu is a pathological liar. He reminds me of, some of us, well, I have never done that, but I have been told things of this nature before with people that I was managing, where somebody will come and say, "Oh my goodness, I'm not feeling well today." They usually call, "I'm not feeling well today. My cat died, and this cat of mine was is a sentimental value to me because my late mother, whom by the way is still alive, loved this cat, and so that love transferred to me, and it reminds me so much of her, and as a result, I'm just so depressed. Can I not come to work today?" Sometimes some people will say, "Oh, my grandma passed away." When their grandma passed away when they were 2 years old. I don't know if you've ever been in a situation like that. Every family member that does not exist, you have, they have died and you are attending their funerals and things like. What Sizwe Zungu is doing the opposite. He is recruiting non-existent family members. I was just laughing when I was listening to Sifiso Zungu say, Sizwe doesn't have brothers by those names. And I think there was somebody else that he mentioned that does not exist in the Zungu family. And I'm like, I see what you're doing. So the cell phone thing is quite disturbing. Clearly, that cell phone was used by one of those criminals' children by now, and discarded off. Hence, it was never turned on. And I agree with Swiso Zungu when he speaks about photos. Now, I'm actually thinking about all the accused phones. Because remember, Moses Sibia, when he was on the stand, was it Muhola, went to him and asked him to unlock his phone? Because when you unlock my phone, not in my presence, only goodness knows what you are going to add there and what you are going to subtract there and what you are going to abstract and extract out of my cell phone. And then next thing, I'm hearing new things that I have no idea about. Absolutely no idea about. So I believe him when he says that Sizwe Zungu knows whereabouts of his cell phone, because the photos that were taken out of Swiso Zungu's cell phone, suddenly now they're part of the evidence in this court. And yet he has never shared a photo of him and Muzi. Why would I send my brother or cousin a photo of me and my other cousin? For what reason? What am I going to say about that? So it's a clear pathological lie that Sizwe Zungu told the court. And the party, I once again imagine an imagined party, an imagined party on the 26th of October 2014 was fabricated by the scriptwriter. And they did not count on a lot of people. Now I am waiting for the gentleman. What's his name again? I keep forgetting his name. The one that went with Sizwe Zungu to Fosloras on the 26th of October 2014. He needs to come to the stand. We would like to hear his side of the story. When he had to wait for Sizwe Zungu at Carlton Center, then they had lunch before they went to Fosloras. Please, can he come? And I hope he's okay wherever he is, because I think they might now start predicting who is going to be next. That is, maybe it's part of the witness list. I'm not quite sure, and I'll be happy to hear that it's part of the witness list, because there's no way that your name is being mentioned in a false case on innocent people in this matter, while the perpetrator or perpetrators are out there. And it was also quite interesting to hear Khumalo reminding us of Sizwe Zungu's testimony in a transcript where he was chastising Ugwabene about guns, and then there's a missing 38. That missing 38, if my mind serves me right, somewhere, somehow, somebody who used to own the 38 said that the 38 got stolen immediately after Senzo Mayor was unalived. That is why suddenly, out of the blue, we are hearing of a 9mm. And yet, the eyewitnesses, both of them, that's Zandi Lemtogo and Tumelo Madlala, they all said the gun had a flying wheel. Sounds like the missing 38 type of situation. But no, the state is adamant about non-existent of the 38, but the existence of the 9mm with its bullet head that was found behind a jar. And then you have to, that people, I did physics, even though I did not like it, but I had to do it anyways because the school I went to, that was a type of school where, I don't know, there are people that talk about, there's another group of subjects that people take, what did they call it again? I was shocked that there's such a thing. In my school, we had commercial sciences and art, and the other one, what was the other one? It has to do with woodwork, tech. That's what we had. We didn't have any other subjects. However, you could request to add other subjects onto what you are doing. Like I requested for them to add history because I love history. So the point that I'm trying to make is we learned about velocity, speed. We learned about aerodynamics. We learned about all the things that takes for a bullet to when it hits a surface. And the calculations may vary, but inside a confined space like the kitchen of the Khumalos, that bullet will be and breaking things along the way. It will be breaking things along the way. But no, they smartly said, oh, it hit the wooden door. There are fragments of the wooden door so that it slowed the bullet. But, okay, it hits the fragment of the wooden door. Yeah, it will slow down. Either you get stuck into the wood because of the speed, or it will hit through the wooden door all the way outside. And that is why I was suggesting, why don't they have like this metal detector, that one that we see at the beach? I'm from Durban, so there'll be a lot of people searching for treasure, and they will have these beeping metal detector. I even suggested that. Like, why don't, probably the bullet is still there. Oh, no. Little did we know that the lady with the surname that Yin Yangs, and me and Yin Yangs don't actually get a mhlahlo, mhlohla. That type of situation, she comes with the bullet head of a 9mm. And now that we are learning in the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry that some police, what they do if they realize that this case is too tough to solve. So what they do, they find people like Bongani Ntanzi and Muzi Sibiya, and they go into the evidence room of cases that are already solved. The people that were accused, they are now convicted. So these guns and these bullet heads are not destroyed yet. They are still sitting in the evidence room. So they go there and re-unseal it, and then they pin an already served or an already found guilty weapon that was used to unalive a person. These people are criminals, guys. Crooks. And the person that actually drew the picture for us, enthusiastically, clean cut, and very, very impressive, was Captain Mchali. Remember Captain Mchali? He was the only witness on the police side that we all believed, because he said anything that goes into the evidence room and anything that goes out of the evidence room, I would know about it. But that 9mm you're talking about, it was already ready for destruction. That's what he said in that courtroom. And now suddenly it's being pinned on the 5 people that stand accused of unaliving Senzo Mayo, and they thought they were going to be smart by not pinning the person that pulled the trigger between Ndanzi and accused number 3. So they say, oh, it was accused number 3 that pulled the trigger because it's already serving I don't know how many years in prison for unaliving a taxi owner, a taxi driver, or something like that. So they were trying to be smart there. When we see this, we see what is happening. And all that Siso Zungu is saying is that everything that has been said by Siso Zungu in my name and the party that never existed, all lies. Everything is a lie. There was never a VW Polo that was driven by Ufiso Gushe. There was never a time where they were with Mapisa, all of that stuff. And we believe Sfiso Zungu because this is exactly what was running in our heads for all these years since this case began. All these years since this case began. Where is a cell phone Kasfiso Zungu? Bring back the cell phone. Bring back the cell phone. And on top of that, I would like to also know, is Fiso Zungu an accused person or a suspect at this point since they opened a case against him? Or was that a way of intimidating him that if you ever dead, we are now going to finish the job? Hence the threat by allegedly Gininda, who said to him, you are between prison and death. So what that is an underlying threat here that says, if you ever go against us, whether in court or wherever, that's why that case, it still, I think, still exists. Because sooner or later, once Sfiso Zungu is done with his testimony, he might actually get arrested for that gun that was planted in his room. Remember, you are between prison and death if they don't unalive him. So this guy needs protection by the state, because the state, that sounds like an oxymoron. The state threatens you, and the same state you have to go and ask for protection to. Hey, Batoke was right. This trial is a mess. This whole thing is a mess. For what? For what? How much did you guys get paid to protect the trigger man or trigger lady? How much did y'all get paid? And why is Kelly Khumalo still a free woman if she is the mastermind? Can somebody explain all these things to me? Can somebody, no, seriously, on a serious note, can somebody in the know educate me and the clan family about what exactly it is that is holding the South African Police Service from arresting Kelly Khumalo? Because in the court of law, this very trial, she was identified as the mastermind who hired these 5 people. Why is she not in jail? Is she not she's a mastermind, therefore she is a conspirator. She conspired and commissioned a crime to unalive the father of her child, which, by the way, I don't believe. There is no way that Kelly Khumalo would benefit anything from the death of Senzo Meyiwa. Absolutely, it's the dumbest. I have seen people try to explain this, and every time they do, I'm left like, are you okay? Like, seriously. Because when you now start asking follow-up questions, they never respond. Like, because it does not make sense. I would have understood if it was Mandisa, because Mandisa will have a motive. She's got 2 motives. The first motive, revenge. You are cheating on me and you actually made a baby outside of our marriage. So that rage, that's motive. And the second motive is inheritance. She is married to Senzo Meyiwa. Anything and all the policies come to her. And she's a wealthy woman. That's motive. We do hear of life insurance crimes in this country. Rosemary Ndlovu is already serving prison terms. Life terms, actually. 6 of them. And possibly 6, 7, and 8 is coming up. And what would Kelly Khumalo get again? Even that daughter will not even get the 50%, because as far as I understand, the unwinding of the late estate is that 50% goes to the wife, and then the other 50% it goes to the children, but they share that 50%. By the time they get to Senzo Meyiwa's child that is outside of wedlock, and by the way, I doubt the child was in any of Senzo Meyiwa's documentation for beneficiary as a beneficiary. So Mandisa can choose to say, I angmazi the other child, and just take care of herself and her children. It makes no sense. So why is she not arrested then? Why she's not accused number 7? I did see someone in the comments says, no, there's supposed to be 7 accused. Sfiso Zungu would have been accused number 7. And I was like, yeah, that kind of like makes sense. Because where's Kelly Khumalo? Where is Kelly Khumalo? And why this judge, if this is a real judge, hasn't asked that question? Ugeninda, if you guys noticed, when he realized that this case is going south, do you remember what he tried to do? He tried to distance himself from it. And then he pinned it on prosecutorial investigation. When he is the mastermind of the script. There's no escaping. So Judge Ratha yesterday, and I was like, where did that come from? Was I the judge? I was like, that was so random. And then and it started a whole debate, and I'm like, what was the necessity? And then I realized he was like, hey, guys, I see the light now. I see what's going on, but you keep me away. Takam Kwanazi came on the 6th of July and said the judiciary today, a whole high court judge got arrested. I think her name, I can't remember her name, but Posha Patlan, together with her son, for taking bribes. Hey, qhubekani udlala ngemsebenzi. Let's see where it's going to lead you at the end of the day. Mamfundisi ndini. Anyways, it was interesting, and I feel some sort of relief with Sfiso Zungu being a witness, because he is, if you are not seeing the magnitude of Sfiso Zungu's testimony, you must remember that he is the foundation of this entire matter, because Usizwe Zungu said all of this transpired in Kwabeni's room. The guns, the conspiracy, the going out and coming back, and they drank Jameson to celebrate in Kwabeni's room. So Kwabeni is the person that's supposed to say, yeah, all that is true, all that happened. But he says, never happened. It never happened. So what happened here now, a case that died in September of 2023, because of that, the first judgment, Judge Ratha was profusely drinking water after sending Sizwe Zungu to KwaZulu-Natal to go fetch those handwritten statements. That case went 9 feet under. So they had to go dig it out. And it's still dead. It's still dead. It's bones at this point. But we are being subjected to this. And I know before you come for me, by we, because we stand with the Maywars. That's why I say we. We are one in this. We are with the Maywars. Anyways, please don't leave the video without liking, and I'll see you next time with a new video. Goodbye.